to Comic Pop's YouTube and Comics panel here at the Garden State Comic Fest. If you haven't met us before, we'll go down the line, give you our names, and then we'll get a little bit into who we are, where we came from, and what we can do to help you with any questions you have about YouTube and comics, or that combination thereof.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ben.
We make shows on our ComicPOP YouTube channel, which you can go to at comicpop.net or youtube.com/tvlittlehouse, because that was the name of our channel before we became ComicPOP.
That's actually a very important lesson.
It's a very important lesson when you create your YouTube channel. Think about it. Think about the name you're going to use. Think about the memorability? No. Yeah, no. You know what it is now, because I was an English major, memorability of your channel name. You have to think about what you're going to be talking about. You have to want to be able to think about like the future as well. It's daunting, and you know what the reality is? You can just make another one.
You can make another one, you will lose whatever subscribers you have. Yeah. You can change the name of it when people come to it, but you can never change the URL.
Right, so if you wanted, like, let's say you're a big toast enthusiast. I love toast. YouTube.com/toastfans. But then you decide you wanted to get into movies. It's going to be Toast Fans.
Like the URL is going to be Toast Fans, but you could change the name and the channel to whatever you want.
But YouTube will never change it.
So they'll never change that URL.
What I did to fix it was I bought the URL comicpop.net, because there's this Korean channel that has comicpop.com, and they're not using it for anything. That's another thing you'll encounter. If you have a great idea, odds are some stupid company from a faraway place has squatted on it, and they're never going to give it up, and it's in characters you'll never be able to understand, and it'll just sit there, like mocking you.
Or even if it's, you know, not in a foreign language, sometimes you'll come across someone who just owns the site that you want, and you'll be like, hey, I went to your site, and you're not using it. It's been a holding page for the past 2 years. I'd be interested in buying it from you. And they're like, okay, that'll be $20,000. And you're like, yep, never mind.
And that happens. So yeah, think about the channel you're going to make, and think about the name you're going to use. And this was, ComicPOP came from, well, originally we were TV Little House, because I live in a little house, and that was our production company and our production house. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if we were Little House Entertainment? It was originally Little House Productions, but there's a million of those. Little House Media, that was the story Ben just told you. The guy has Little House Media. And then we went with Little House Entertainment because nobody had it. And we were like, okay, we'll make, and we made our reality show about us on the weekends, which no one wants to see, and I don't have available anymore. And we also had...
The audience spoke.
Yes, the audience that didn't exist.
With silence.
So we went with that, and we did sketches. We did like videos that we wanted to see. And that was how it really begins, and that's kind of the advice that I would have overall for YouTubers in general, which is we made stuff we wanted to see. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, whether it's about comics or anything, make the content you want to watch.
Not only is that good for the people that you really connect with as an audience, but that helps you create the content because you're enjoying making it.
By the way, I'm a very opinionated person. I'm sorry if I offend you at any point. It's no personal offense meant at all. And, you know, my opinion changes over time.
Oh, no, absolutely. His opinion should.
And, yeah, so, and it actually changes throughout the shows that we make. The shows that we make, by the way, which is also segueing into what we do, we make a show called Back Issues, where I explain comics to two guys or one guy and a girl who don't normally read comics or never read them when they were growing up. I read comics when I was a kid. Started when I was 8 years old, and now I'm older than that, and I remember all that stuff instead of algebra or how to talk to girls, and so as a result, I take that information and then I share it with my friends and cohorts. It actually evolved from just doing it in general. You've done it yourselves, I'm sure. You hang out in a party and someone says, you know, oh, that Guardians of the Galaxy movie looks good, and you're like, it does it because Nova's not in it. And they're like, who's Nova? And you're like, well, let me tell you. First of all, Nova's name is Richard Ryder and not Sam Alexander, and I've got an opinion about that. And then you go on and on and on. That's where Back Issues came from. But it's funny because they have no context for it. You know, they don't know what a nova is. You mean like a star? You know,
like a supernova?
Like a supernova? No. Although, yes. And you have to try to kind of explain it, break it down for them. Say like, okay, so there's this guy, he's crazy, and he dresses like a clown. You know, oh, you mean the Joker? Yes. And we just break it down that way, and they ask questions that comic book fans kind of take for granted. We're kind of like, we assume a lot because we know a lot, but if you have no context, if you've never read those books, you don't necessarily know the intricate continuity web that all these characters are wrapped up in. And so they ask questions that you'd never think to ask, that I find fascinating. And so that's where the show came from, and now it's our most popular show, and it's nominated for a Harvey Award. I don't mind saying that out loud because
it's true.
I actually know what that is. So it's a Harvey Award nominated show now, and that's a feather in my cap. The other show we do is a weekly comic book review show where we all read the book, and then
we're talking about just single issues.
Single issues, and then give you our opinion/review of it. And that's called Off the Rack because you take the book off the rack and read it. There's another show we do that's thanks to the fans. It's called Letters Page, where people comment on your YouTube videos, and that's another thing, by the way. I'll give you tidbits of YouTube advice while we go. You should always engage your audience. You should always engage and encourage discussion with your YouTube channel and with your videos. And one of those things we do is we love getting comments. When we first started, we didn't get any comments. Nobody commented. Or they'd say, flame, or fake, which I don't know what that means. Like, we're just sitting there talking about comics, but whatever. So it seems to be a staple.
Yeah, across the internet, you'll hear that.
Yeah, fake. So, and we were like, you can comment, guys. Like, you could say you like what we're doing.
We see the views.
We see that you're watching it. You could say something, please. And then it turned into, we would ask you guys a question. We'd say like, hey, what was your first experience with this character? Or hey, what would be a better name for this character? Let us know in the comment section down below. And that encourages discussion and brings people in, and then the people in the comments get into a conversation, which is why YouTube changed over to Google Plus, because they wanted to encourage conversation. I don't know if it worked, but we have so many comments now, we can't possibly read them all.
And we try.
Oh my
God, we try.
I have push notifications on my phone. Whenever I get a comment, it tells my phone, and I read it, and I go, hit, and then either I can comment if I have a moment, or I'm like in the shower, and I can't.
Or sometimes just a +1.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at it in the shower?
Because I am a miserable, lonely person who needs constant gratification.
About the comments though, you're gonna get positive, you're gonna get negative.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
going to happen. There's gonna be someone out there who just doesn't, who either you think she said something incorrectly, didn't have the correct knowledge. Don't forget there is no way to, put how you want something to be read when you write something on the internet, and how that person is going to read it, you have no idea. So things are going to be taken the wrong way. It's going to happen.
Yeah. Or they'll take it like personally. Like they'll
They'll take
say,
it personally.
Green Arrow is totally overrated.
Well,
Everyone's like, oh no, you don't.
I mean, like when someone writes a comment, maybe you read it the wrong way.
That's true.
Or,
I have done that.
Or you respond to someone, they read it the wrong way. It's going to happen. There are going to be people who just don't like your face. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
they're just gonna hate it.
For no reason.
If
They
you're wearing
just
makeup.
they don't like
We've got it. It's weird.
They don't like you
Yeah.
because you're you, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And you just have to let it roll off your back.
But here's the thing about that: you're gonna get overwhelmingly more positive than negative
yes,
comments. But you're only going to remember those negatives.
because of
And you need to resist that urge.
Yes.
Because you're gonna read it and you're gonna be like and these amazing, like, thoughtful, careful, encouraging words. People like spent time like, you brought me into comics. I hated comics, or I loved them, and then I quit when the Clone Saga happened, and now I'm back in. And it'll melt your heart. And then someone will say like, guys wearing makeup, nice eyeshadows. And you'll never forget it.
And you'll be really confused.
And that's not because you're consciously trying. It's just because it's so stupid.
it's part of human nature to some degree.
Yeah.
But this is something that you can put a feather in your cap about.
That's not-
They may have put a negative comment in. They still watched it.
Yeah.
They had to watch it.
They had to watch it,
And
so
by
you're
the way-
still getting views.
You'll always want to say, you'll be like, thanks for the view,
And
but don't.
and
Like,
Don't antagonize.
don't encourage them. Like, don't.
Don't.
You know the old saying, don't feed the trolls.
yeah, they're gonna be there, and like
And they're gonna hold you. It's amazing. People like your audience, the invisible audience and the vocal audience, are going to take you to task on everything you say and do, and they're gonna call you unprofessional. They're gonna call you unknowledgeable, and then you're gonna respond and say something like, "Well, thanks for the views," and they're gonna go, "Wow, way to be unprofessional." Because they watched your show. They know that you they know to some degree that you put time into it,
And you care about it.
They're expecting a modicum of decorum. Even the trolls expect you to be a professional, and don't disappoint them, and don't disappoint your audience by not being professional. Don't bring yourself down by engaging.
Another great thing is that the members of your audience that do like what you do will come to your defense.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's the thing. You don't even
But
have to.
you
You'll wait for your
don't-
fans to do it.
But you don't encourage people
No, don't
to
be like,
fight amongst
keep
each
the
other.
population go over
if,
this.
if nothing else, especially for what we do for the community we're building, we want it to be good conversations. We want it to be comic book fans because we do read a lot of comments from fans where people are like, I don't have people to talk to comic books, like about comic books with others. Like I don't have friends who are into them. I don't have people around me who care about it at all. And you know, I come and I watch you guys, and it's like I get that opportunity. But then they also get to engage with the community who they know likes this thing.
Yeah.
You know, like commenting on a YouTube video about comics. You know, the other commenters care about it in some way, shape, or
That's
form.
right.
So we always like to encourage conversation.
Yeah.
It could be negative conversation, like something they don't like, fine, whatever. We get upset when people start to attack one another, and like,
when there's
and
no
like,
respect in
look,
it.
if you're gonna attack us, fine, whatever.
We're fair
Like,
game, we're putting ourselves out.
I get the most angry when people start attacking each other, like other commenters. I'm like, don't do that. No,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
the
what
only
we're
time
here
you'll
to do.
probably get banned or have your comment removed.
Yes,
Is if you're...
I will say too, and I want to touch on this just briefly. There is a difference if you are a female YouTuber and a male to YouTuber as to the comment you're going to get. Ladies, if you are looking to become a YouTuber, you're gonna get comments about your physical appearance. Good, bad, regardless. How you want to handle them is up to you. I recommend it not, like, don't engage it either way.
Yeah.
Don't engage it either way. It's gonna happen though. People are gonna come into this, especially if you're dealing with something that is been perceived as a male-dominated field, even if it no longer is, and they're gonna have expectations one way or the other. You don't have to engage
gonna,
it.
like, well, look, here's the thing. It's, if you're gonna be a female YouTuber, or if you are a female YouTuber, it's gonna be harder than it is for me. And that's not fair, and it's not cool, but it's the reality. And if you go in knowing that, you'll be off a little better.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I also noticed that more, like, female YouTubers in general are very aware of it and very supportive of each other. And I guess I'll break into that next section, which is I encourage collaborations. And collaboration, I love how when I took a YouTube seminar, I got the certificate, which of course it really did well for me, thank you. Which you can print out and put at home. It's next to my University of Phoenix degree. So you could...
He signed in crayon.
it's next to my Church of Life. I'm an ordained minister of the Church of Life as well.
The Star Wars religion, right?
Yeah, no. Yeah, I know.
That's Life Day. No.
I can't remember.
Oh no, if I want to be a Force priest, like, you gotta pay more. That's like $45. So, yeah, the church lies $15. So yeah, I've been unemployed for a long time. So yeah, what was I gonna say?
You were talking about
collaborations. Obviously, collaborations are the way to go because, you know, you're working together, you're pooling your audiences, you're getting ideas. Because YouTube, for the most part, you're not like one of the things that sets us apart is that we're a team. Like, we're a group that does our channel. All the other channels that I work with, all the other channels that I collaborate with are one person. And it can be a very solitary experience. It can be a very, like, lonely time. And you're only hearing your own ideas. And collaborations are a great way to break up that minutia and getting some new ideas into the hopper. It also doesn't hurt that maybe some of those collaborators have higher YouTube channel views or more subscribers than you.
Which, if you're just starting out, is going to be the case.
Yes, and I recommend looking for comparable YouTubers, like around the same number as you, maybe a little higher. You know, reach high. But for the most part, like if you're reaching out, like if you're just starting out, you got like 150 subscribers. I wouldn't email the people with 1 million or 150,000 or 200,000. Just because they're probably not going to get back to you.
And it's not that they're
I know this
mean.
from experience, by the way.
It's not that they are like,
Yeah, they're not like
screw that
they're
guy
not like
or
those.
whatever.
Oh, we don't talk to them.
No.
It's just that like it gets lost.
It
They
does
get
get lost.
inundated.
They do get inundated. The fact is, if they are a solitary person, they are doing all the editing. They're doing everything for their channel. They are doing it, and it takes a lot of time. If they're doing comic books, they got to read the books. They got to shoot the show.
They gotta read
edit
they
the show.
gotta read the books, write the material, and they do write it.
And for the most part, if you're contacting them through YouTube, I gotta tell
That
you,
message
probably about
system is
75% of YouTubers forget the fact that you can even do that.
Yep.
So don't take it as an insult. It gets lost. It
Yeah.
really will. Like we know so many YouTubers, like even like YouTube friends of ours, we've done it where we're like, yes, we're gonna do that for you. I'm sorry, what did you want me to do?
Yeah,
What?
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's literally just because of the volume of what it is you're putting out. It's the amount of work that goes into it. It's like if you think for a minute, that this isn't going to be work.
This is be fun. It is fun.
It is fun. It absolutely is fun. If you want to do this, and if you really want to commit to it, and you want to like just see where it's going to take you, you're into something that you're really passionate about. Yep. It is going to be work.
So from there, I think we should answer some questions. I think like what we were deciding to do earlier was we would talk for a while, break it up with a Q&A, talk about like just maybe the things we talked about, maybe some of the things you have questions about, and then we'll get into more about like what we do and where we're going. So,
So, if you have a question, go ahead, raise your hand.
Just go ahead and, raise your hand, ask, or whatever.
It could be about YouTube, it could be about the stuff we put out, it could be about us. You can ask anything.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I have a question. Can you tell me a little bit about what you think is happening in your arena and how it might change over the next year? Do you see any emerging trends?
Yes. Okay. So one of the things, I had a meeting with a company affiliated with the Cartoon Network like a week or two ago, and they asked me an amazing question. They said, like, YouTube goes down tomorrow, what do you do? And I was like, wow, I guess I would go back into teaching because that's the end of it. But the fact is, like, that's not the right answer. The answer is, like, you need to have a plan. And there's a million, but I did have an answer, and the answer was I would take all my videos because I save them and put them on, what's that? Vimeo.
The other one?
The other one. I can't remember the name of it right now.
Dailymotion.
Dailymotion, thank you. I put it on Dailymotion, Vimeo, and make one, because YouTube wouldn't just shut down tomorrow. They would be like, we're closing down. We're putting it in the graveyard, and you'd make a video saying move here, like because you have to reach your subscribers directly. But as far as what's happening like in the next year, number one, it's Google owned, so it's impossible to know what they're going to do next. They could do something to totally change the entire way that it's set up. They could only allow like videos on like under an hour. Like like they could do anything they want. And the way to do it, the way to approach it is just, I gotta make the stuff that I know works for me. I gotta make what I make and then put it out there and keep reinventing myself when I get bored or when my subscribers are and using feedback from my subscriber base.
As for content-wise,
yeah.
I think you're gonna see much more talking about, especially when it comes to comics, comics in the cinema. Like you're gonna see that it's going to happen, and you're gonna start to see people who maybe talked more about movies,
yep.
Branching into this industry,
yes,
getting more and talking about comics, because it's like, well, now this is in my arena, and I'm gonna talk about that, and then from there they might delve more into comics, maybe not, but what we've seen so far is like a boom of
yes.
people turning to comics, like being like, oh.
Folk who do video games, movies, who are like, I guess I could also take this market too.
But a lot of that has to do with how comics in general is shifting into the popular
zeitgeist.
Mainstream in a way?
Yeah, it is kind of mainstreaming because of the cinematic universe, because of TV shows. People who had no idea, beyond.
That Ant-Man was a character.
Well, I was going to say they had no idea that Superman and Spider-Man didn't exist in the same universe.
Yes.
Now are like becoming experts
now
to
they
them
know
to
that,
some
like,
degree,
yeah.
and they're searching for things on YouTube, or they want to see list videos on like the top whatever superheroes that have a movie or don't have a movie or
yep.
whatever. People who normally would have no interest in comic book characters are becoming interested in comic book characters. Yep. You can now drop superhero names in casual conversation and someone doesn't look at you like, what?
And someone doesn't make fun of you.
Yeah. So I think we're going to see that, we're going to see a large spike in that and inevitably a decline like you do with everything else. Yeah. The fact is, for every PewDiePie that's out there, you have probably 100,000 people who desperately want to get into that industry and can't because of people like that.
And they're doing the same thing. They're putting out the same content. It's just everyone has one idea of where to go for it.
Exactly. Yep. And while the video game streaming and YouTube industry hasn't died,
it's not
it's
viable.
so flooded at this point that
Yeah.
if you're doing it because you want to do it, that's one thing. If you're doing it because you think you're going to make money, that's not going to happen at this point.
Idea. You might want to workshop that
and
idea.
I think that we're going to see something like that happen with comic books.
Ethan, any thoughts about the future of YouTube?
About the future of YouTube?
Just your thoughts. I'm actually just interested to know.
I would defer to you guys on all that
right?
stuff. I would agree with comments about the cinematic universe. I think and even more so maybe with shows like The Flash. And
Yes.
I hear so many people talking about.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
No,
and
water
I don't
cooler
even
shows.
watch it, and they're
No.
like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah, Legends of Tomorrow is like a water cooler show.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. And here's what's funny. It's really an interesting time to be a comic book fan, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm a comic book fan like Sal is. Like, I am very aware of both universes. I have read mainstream events. I do know the difference between Marvel and DC. I'm more of an indie fan, let's be honest. But it must be a very interesting time for hardcore comic book fans to be sitting here, and while it is exciting because
You're finally seeing that.
people being really well, not just seeing it, but like all these people are really interested in it, but they're interested in it in just this one capacity where they're just like, no, everything I know about this is held in this TV show, and that's all I know about it. And if they got something wrong, then that's it. Like that's what they're gonna know.
still it. No, that's how it happened. That's the truth for them, and your mind will go insane.
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, it's exciting because it does honestly open the door to bring in new comic book readers, which is the thing that every single publisher desperately wants.
Yes, they're all like they're all talking about the new readers. Your favorite story has been interrupted, destroyed, retconned because of those new readers that they're trying to bring in.
But at the same time, you do see Marvel and DC turning to YouTube now that they have seen other channels working out.
Into it.
They are trying to do the same thing.
DC created their own whole. DC, there's a guy named Jowan who did the video. You're probably most familiar with him if you're not, even if you don't know the name. He did expletive deleted that comic book fans say. You know, like shit my mom says or shit comic book fans say. I just curse anyway, but whatever. Like we could say. I don't see any children anymore.
No, they're still there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Don't listen. So, but yeah, stuff. Oh, I can just say stuff. Oh, there you go. This is what we edit.
We'll edit back. Well, don't worry. We'll edit that in post.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll fix that.
I don't think we're recording. Stuff that comic book fans say, and he's the guy who did like, did you know there are 5 Robins? I bet you didn't. Like that's the video he made. DC saw his subscriber base, which was lower than like Comicstorian back then. And but they said this guy's got presence. This guy lives in LA, and this guy has a YouTube channel. They brought him in. Now he is DC Access's guy. He's the guy who works for DC's YouTube presence. Even the comic book companies are getting into this interesting world.
They're embracing it.
And I mean, you know what? Marvel did it first, but they did it poorly. They have a show called The Watcher, where this woman like reads from a prompter about like books that are coming out, but doesn't give any spoilers and doesn't tell you anything about them except that it's going to be great. And like that's not a thing. That's not anything. That's like barely a commercial. Why would I ever subscribe to that? And yeah, but DC All Access is like, oh hey, I'm just here with Jeff Johns. We're just hanging out, and anything that you want to tell us about about Darkseid War? Yeah, I can tell you like 1 or 2 things. Oh crap, subscribe. They're doing it right. And so yeah, publishers are getting into it because they know. I mean, like, look, you can go from just our subscriber base, just our channel, or just our comment list. People who are like, I'm new. I didn't read comics. I saw your show. I'm reading them now. I'm buying comic books.
And sometimes it's people that are reading comic books, but they're like, I never thought to pick up that book.
Yep.
Now I'm gonna pick that up.
Yeah, but like the one that really sticks out for me is the one where people are like, I never read them, and now I do, and now I'm a fan. These publishers need to like think about that and how that can help us.
And
it also jumps onto your copyright question, where it's like, ease up, because we're helping you.
And they will, to some degree,
And they do.
based on the
The fact is they do.
The fact is, there is also someone at both of those especially the big 2. There is someone whose job it is
To watch, to look for your stuff and to strike you on a copyright.
to do that, or to see what you're doing and
Yes.
see what they can take.
Yes, that's the other thing. And that's the thing that like everyone's doing. Is they're like, what are you doing, and how can I do it better?
Yeah.
What's your follow-up question?
Yeah, different topic.
Sure.
There's been a lot of buzz about the rise of female fans into the pop culture demographic.
Sure.
I'm wondering if you have any opinions, or even if you see any evidence of that with your view.
I know the demographics for our channel, and I can tell you with certainty that women do watch it, but not as many as men.
I can assure you that I have seen a significant rise
Yes.
in female fans of all geek culture who feel comfortable, because I truly believe that's what it was.
Yeah.
It's a comfort level thing. For the longest time, video games, comic books.
Male dominated.
We're said to be male dominated, and when you say it enough to someone, everyone starts to believe it, and then you feel weird.
Yeah, you feel weird for having that interest. Oh, well, this is a boy thing. I guess I should
unless you don't, and I did.
And good for
I was
you.
like, whatever, I don't care. I like Star Wars, and I'm gonna like it forever until the prequels came out. Anyway, but the fact is, you're seeing more and more of them coming out, and I think that has to do with the internet. Let's be honest. I can go on the internet. I can look at pictures of Comic-Cons. I can look at blogs. I can look at YouTube channels, and I can see other women who are a fan of the same thing I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
I can be like, oh no, see, this is okay. Like, if I was a teenager right now in this environment, I can see the fact that it's like, no, it's totally cool. And like, it's really exciting to be a part of this world because look at these people. And like, you're gonna get people who are just simply into cosplay, and maybe it's because they like the fans, or to the characters to some degree, but maybe they really just like sewing. And there are plenty of the people out there like that.
Or they like looking fabulous.
There is also that, and they do.
The fact is, like,
they do. Let's be honest. There's a lot of hard work, and they look amazing. And you're also gonna run into female fans who are hardcore gamers who could simply kick my butt in any video game. I love video games. I am not a hardcore gamer, and there are girls out there who would take me to task, and anyone else in this audience. And there are girls out there who are writing comic books, and I think that there's a strange emphasis on when that happens, and it doesn't need to be. You know what? You know, people like Fiona Staples is an amazing artist who's working on Saga and the new Archie book, and we don't really make a big deal about it anymore because it's not a big deal, because it's totally cool for a woman to do that. And if we put emphasis on it like they do when there is a homosexual character, it makes it strange, and it makes it like it's a big deal when it happens. It's normal. It's cool. And I don't think the female fan base is going anywhere but up, and it's gonna become strange and archaic when people talk about the fact that there was this dark ages.
It's gonna be weird when people say girl gamers or girl comic book fans.
Yeah, it's just
eventually it's just gonna be all.
Everyone's just a fan.
I mean, all of us are. Right? There was probably one place you could go if you, like, let's say you lived in a small town. Not a lot of people read comics. There wasn't really even a comic book store, and if you went there, they were all like adults or whatever. It was weird. The one place I could go, because none of my friends like comic books, none of the adults. My parents were like, fine. Batman, right? Here you go. And I'm like, no, Savage Dragon. And they're like, I don't.
What?
They're like, sure, kid, knock yourself out. The one place I could go was Wizard Magazine. It was a magazine dedicated to comics, written by comic book fans who made inside jokes, wrote columns about the minutia of comics. That, for me, was a big influence on the channel itself. Because I noticed there was a vacuum after the magazine. Because the magazine is, I don't know if you're a time traveler or not, but like it doesn't exist anymore. But the magazine, I think, died long before it stopped existing. Eventually, they became like, oh, people are watching those comic book movies. I guess that's what we're going to turn into, and they kind of, the comic book community in general, like went to the internet and found and niched off, like splintered off to the point where we're impossible to market for. Like people, Batman vs Superman trailer came out, and there's a huge amount of people stupid because it's not doing the thing that these people. It's comics. You should just be happy it's made. Because if you read comics in the '90s, you like, oh, if I want to see Spider-Man for real, I guess I gotta go get a bootleg of that 1970s Spider-Man show that is unwatchable. So this was a thing where I was like, I think there's a community vacuum here.
Yeah.
And so let's do this. Like, let's make a channel that's like celebrating the comic book community and encouraging collaboration and community. And that's really for me, like, say what you will about Wizard. Like Wizard, was paid by independent companies to put their books in the top. I'm sorry, Lady Death #1 did not sell that many books. It should not have been the top 10 comics of the year. I apologize, but Lady Death and Gen 13 were not selling that much. Somebody was getting paid, but like at its purest form, they were celebrating comics and encouraging community, and I think that's at our purest form. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, that's the ideal.
Yeah, exactly. So questions, comments? Yes, go ahead.
So I'm getting views here and there, but we're not really getting subscribers. How do you promote yourself?
Great question. Ways you can promote yourself: social media, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, just something's right. I wouldn't even bother with Google Plus, but we have one.
Well, you have one because you have to have one.
You gotta occupy them all. Like if you have a brand, you have to occupy all the space in social media, even the ones that you yourself don't find value in. because you never know. And you also don't want somebody else to take it.
And as strange as it is, forums are still a thing. People still use forums, and a lot of comic-based forums have a self-promotion section.
Yep.
It's a great place to put your stuff.
And that's the best way to go, by the way, because...
But by the way, do not post it in the other areas. They get really angry.
Yeah, like here's the thing. If you want to self-promote, do it in the most applicable and most appropriate way possible. You know, I remember I had a webcomic in 2003, and I really wanted people to read it. So I went to the Penny Arcade forums, and I still have scars from the from that massacre of what a noob I am. Like I'm literally telling it on a panel 12 years later. Like that's how burned I was by that experience. Do yourself a favor and look for the appropriate opportunities to promote yourself. Obviously, if you have your own Twitter channel, that's it. Like your Twitter account, you can. That's people are subscribed to you. They're there to hear what you have to say, and if what you have to say is to watch your new show, then that's what they're there for.
Would you recommend that people tweet at influential people?
I think that content? If it's relevant, yes. Also, but it's very careful. You got to be very careful about that. With respect to tweeting at creators, tweeting at actors, or influential people in the community. If you do tweet at them, do it sparingly, and don't do it a lot, or don't do it all in sequence. That's the only thing that's going to happen for them is going to get blocked.
And you don't want that.
And you don't want that, because then that's it. Because they're never going to go through their block list and go, okay, who do I need to give a second chance to? That's it forever. Like you'll never be able to talk to Jeff Lemire again because you wanted him to watch your Spider-Gwen video. Like, so you know, I mean, the reality is, like, imagine that you're in a mall and you're surrounded by people. How do you want to get these people? How would you communicate to them? Because otherwise,
you might take a big orange cone and walk in and then shout.
Sometimes the oldest ways are the best. The simplest ways are the other best.
And to bring it back around to what Sal was saying, collaboration is an excellent way to promote yourself because their audience may not be the same as your audience. They may have never heard of you before.
They might be your target audience, but they've never heard of you. And
but that's a great opportunity because they're going to see what you're doing and be like, oh, I like that, and from that you'll be able to see probably see some sort of subscriber bump.
Yeah, right off the top of my head, just advice for you, I would say, find some podcasts that specialize in the subject matter you're talking about, and ask if they ever need a fifth or a fourth or a third. Like, ask if they ever need a guest. Offer to help them out. If there's a YouTuber that's like that's like the same size as you, I would say work if they have content you appreciate and enjoy, and you don't think that they're like creepy or scummy. I would say hey, let's do something together. Let's do a video together, or let's create a podcast together, or let's try to get on someone else's podcast together.
And being remote is fine because you can just Skype. You can do the calls and things like that. You don't have to
Google
be there.
Hangouts. You don't have to be in the same room.
A great way to self-promote, also that Sal and Tiffany mentioned before, by commit to the schedule. If you are consistent with when you put it out, then the YouTubers are going to consistently come back. If you miss a day, then they're going to notice that because they will not see you. And if you don't tell them about it, be like, guys, I'm really sorry. I wasn't able to put this out today. It'll be up tomorrow. At least communicate with your audience.
That's right. Yeah, consistency is key. That's what they always tell you.
Especially early on. You want to keep the subscribers you have. You want them to tell their friends.
Yep.
Because word of mouth is a thing still. It's amazing because you wouldn't think it is.
Oh,
but it is.
We were at Applebee's.
Yeah, ComicPOP likes Applebee's.
I can't remember what their slogan was. I was going to toss it out. I was going to say "Eat Fresh," but that's
eating good in the neighborhood.
Eating good in the neighborhood. We were at Applebee's eating good in the neighborhood,
Can't believe you remember that.
I don't think I used it anymore. I'll never forget that song. So,
all right, just tell me what's your point.
We were at Applebee's and we got cards printed up. Thank you to Tiffany, our in-house designer. Which, by the way, if you know somebody who can design it, really helps out. Makes it look really good. But Tiffany designed these awesome cards that we have. It just has our website, Twitter account, and a little blurb about what we do. These are your best friend when you're at conventions, or when you're at Applebee's. Because when we were at Applebee's, Ben went up to a group of people who were eating next to us who were wearing superhero shirts. All three of them wore superhero shirts. So I'm like, hey, it's our bread and butter right there. Go get them, Ben. Get your orange cone and go get them. So we didn't do that, and then when we were walking to our cars, he ran up to them in the darkness, and rather than getting stabbed or maced,
surprisingly,
they were like, what's up?
And I was like,
Which
I
is, by
saw
the way,
your
really
shirts, and
dangerous.
they're
If
awesome.
someone runs at you in the darkness in a parking lot at the Applebee's, do not greet them like, oh, hello.
Yeah, chances are they don't have boneless wings.
Unless it's Ben.
Yeah.
it's
So,
Ben.
yeah, because he's probably got a ComicPOP card for you. So he gave me the card, he goes, hey, you guys probably like comic. Oh,
I was like, I saw your shirts, and they're really awesome. I'm not sure if you're aware, but we have a comic channel. You might enjoy our stuff, so here you go.
10 minutes
Don't be
later,
afraid of that.
10 minutes later, our Instagram got 3 new followers, and one of them commented and said, you just gave me this, it was a picture we took of our new cards. He goes, you just gave me one of these in the parking lot. And I'm like, boom, gotcha.
Yeah,
And that's how I earn my
if
keep.
nothing else, if you're
One subscriber at a time.
if you're gonna be a YouTuber, you have to be okay with talking to people. Even if you're talking to a camera, you are talking to people. You have to be able to be willing to put yourself out there.
Yes.
And engage with people.
Yep.
You know, because inevitably you're gonna run into these people.
Yeah.
You're gonna do a live stream. You're gonna do a collaboration. You need to be out there. You gotta just be like, this is me, and I like what I do, and that's why it's important to do something you're proud of.
Yeah.
Because when it comes down to brass tacks, you don't want to be like, yeah, I mean, like whatever. I just do this thing. I don't really care about it.
Yeah, no.
You
Also-
want to be able to talk about it. You want to be like, no, I do this.
Yeah,
and I like
and
it.
put your best face forward. Never make a meltdown video.
Yeah, don't do that. People on the internet have long memories.
Not only that,
They truly do when it comes to something negative. Social media, same thing. Don't
tweet,
get
don't
no
do a
Twitter
Twitter
war.
meltdown.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't get into a flame war.
It doesn't
if
matter.
another YouTuber, another Twitter guy, or girl says like something stupid, just let them say something stupid. Let the work speak for itself.
Yeah.
Don't get involved.
you think you can delete it, but the internet has a memory.
Yeah.
Trust me.
They've got a print screen of it somewhere in a
You know
file,
it,
and it's
trust
just
me.
waiting.
Say what were you gonna say?
No, that was exactly what I was going to say. The internet has a memory.
Yeah.
But regardless, look, YouTube is an amazing tool.
Yep.
And whether you're using it to make your own videos or to just become part of a community, there are communities out there for something you like. I guarantee it. It's
doubt.
out there. And there are people who want to talk to you about it. And there is an opportunity for you to get your friends in on it, especially if you can find like a cool, fun YouTube video about something that you know that they dig. Like if you have, even a significant other, you know, if there's someone who's like, I kind of want to get into this, but I don't know where to start,
Yeah.
YouTube. You know, get some recommendations from there. You know, you can start them like, learn about these characters, like a little bit if you want. If you want. There's like 2-minute videos out there.
That's true.
And like, they're a place to start. Like, it really is amazing. It
Yeah.
truly is spectacular.
Yeah.
What's your idea of teenagers in the YouTube and comic community?
It's great.
Personally, I think it's, depends on what you're doing and depends on what it is you want to get out of it. I think that you see plenty of teenagers inadvertently on YouTube via fail videos, and I don't think that's a great opportunity for them. But I do think that if you're a teenager and you want to get into YouTube, you know, you just have to be careful. You know, let's be honest.
Remember
you have
that it's
to be careful.
always going to be out there.
What I'm talking about when you're making videos, just be like where you're shooting your videos.
Yeah.
Be careful what's in the background.
Well,
you don't
also,
want somebody to know where you're
if you-
living. Don't have like mail or like mention like the town.
Don't
you
use your
live
last
in.
name.
Like
I
don't
would
use your
say,
last
like,
name.
Or use a pseudonym. Like,
Yeah.
Like, by the way, I used Phil DeFranco as an example. That's not his name.
No.
It's Phil something. I don't
Yeah,
know what it
and
is. You could find it, but now he's a millionaire and has like a house.
Yeah,
Like,
who
and now he
cares?
has security.
But like I recently did an anime podcast with a girl whose name was Noodlerella.
Not Nude-arella.
No, Noodlerella.
Noodlerella.
But like that was what she was going by. That was going to be
That's
her
her
brand.
name.
As a teenager, it's a great idea to come up with a brand. Let's be honest. That's who you're going to be. That keeps your private life separated from what your YouTube life is going to be. And when it comes to the comments, that one you just gotta.
And here's the thing, like,
name,
there's
like,
nothing
throw them all over your back.
There's nothing wrong with disabling them.
Yeah, there really isn't.
And that's really the safest way to avoid a problem or a conflict. Is just, and you don't. And by the way, when you disable them, you're disabling them for a video, not for your channel. So
Yeah.
like, if there's a video where you're like, this is really bad, but I don't want to lose this video, just disable the comments. It makes them all go away, and then
People will still watch it.
And people will still watch it.
And just never forget that the people, if anyone says anything negative, and I'm not trying to make it seem scary, because the fact is,
It's
our
fun.
experience is overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
But anyone who's ever been on a forum or Reddit knows that anonymity makes everyone feel like they can say whatever they want. I know everyone's had this internet lesson in school, but we're having it again. When people feel like you can't see their faces, they're gonna say whatever they want because they're like, well, you're never gonna find me, so I'm gonna say the worst thing I can think about you
and
right now.
sometimes, by the way, they just
for
say,
no reason.
yeah, they're just like, oh, wouldn't it be great if I picked something that wasn't a flaw and made it into one?
Yeah.
It's
So
like a mental exercise for psychopaths.
yeah, it really is. But you have to remember that. Never forget that. These people are doing it because you don't know who they are. And, you know...
And they're not doing it because you suck.
Yeah. Because the fact is you don't. You know, like, every time I read something like that that's negative on anyone's video, like ours, anyone else's YouTube video, where someone says something really... I do thumbs it down. I'll go on other people's videos, like, and especially... I do this a lot on other female YouTubers' videos. If I see something really negative that, like, I'm like, that was really inappropriate, I'm like, thumbs down, thumbs down. I'm like,
you can also flag them.
yeah, no, you can, and I have done that for other people. But whenever I read stuff like that on anyone's videos, I just remember in the back of my head, I'm like, where's your video?
Yeah. At the end of the day, like
I'll go to their channel, I'm like, where's your video?
Yeah, like,
you're not putting yourself out there.
Exactly. Way to put yourself out there.
So just don't forget stuff like that. Like, if you're going to get into it, just keep it in the back of your mind. Like,
yeah.
Some people are jerks.
And like it's not and especially with being a teenager, like being creative and being teenagers, like I remember like what I wanted to do and what the ideas I had, and they're not the same as they were today. And just if I could give any advice as far as like being creative, being a teenager and making stuff, like be open-minded about the idea that like your tastes and your interests are going to change, and just let your channel reflect that.
Yeah. And you know what? Just
like, don't feel like just because you said I'm going to do this one thing, means that you have to do it
You
forever.
can always evolve. You can always change what it is that you're doing as long as you're comfortable with it. As a female, like, you know, it's always going to be your comfort level. There are plenty of female YouTubers out there who they do put themselves out on display, but they're comfortable with that. That's what they want to do, and you know what? That's fine. Like, I am like, whatever. If you're not comfortable with that, then don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about your comfort level, what you feel you're comfortable with at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Another thing is that your audience is not going to just be your demographic. Your audience is going to be very wide-ranging. So it's not just going to be limited to the age groups that you are. Our age group is all over the map.
Yeah.
Our audience comes from everywhere. I mean, we have people in other countries because we can check the demographics.
Yeah. Even Montana.
Even Montana, which is an inside joke for the channel that I feel really bad about.
We got a comment yesterday from the United Arab Emirates. He's like, UAE here. I'm like, wow.
And but that is what is so cool about being a part of the YouTube community. You're going to interact with people from all over the globe and from demographics and in situations that you could never imagine that you would be able to interact with them with. And that is
It gives you great perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 minutes?
Yep. All right, 5 minutes.
Final question?
Final questions? Any thoughts? All the way in the back, the blue bodysuit, and then we'll get to red glow sunglasses.
When you spoke about collaboration, how exactly, Sal, did you find like Benny a comic story and Rob and Comics Explained and even Felt, and to come up with like the weekly poll? And then how did you know that you guys weren't like bullshit artists, basically?
Good question.
No kids?
All right, well, here's the thing. Yeah, the kids are gone. Okay, we can curse.
All right, we're safe.
Yeah. You know what? If you're on YouTube, you're cursing. Actually, good plug for them, by the way.
Check us out if we can pull on that.
Yeah.
Wait, who are you working for?
They tweeted at you, and they're like, "Oh, he's on the panel. Ask him about Comic Story and how great he is."
Do the quick version of it.
Okay, quick version. Rob messaged me through YouTube, which was the worst idea ever.
And that's why I said that you know that they're not paying attention to it.
Rob messaged me on YouTube when he was Marvel Explained, and I looked at his videos and saw he made videos, and he was like legit. Well, not legit, like he was, you know,
big time. Just like, oh, he does stuff.
Just, oh, cool, he makes videos. And I was like, and I was looking to collaborate, and I was not getting a lot of bites. So I said, sure, it sounds great. And they had already established the weekly poll during the correspondence I had with Rob. That is to say, Rob and Benny were creating the weekly poll at that point. And then they started the weekly poll. I came on in episode 4, and then quickly replaced the guy who was on last time. And that's how the weekly poll is formed. The weekly poll is literally just like, those two had the idea, like, let's do a podcast too, like everyone else has. And we'll use, it was kind of like, we'll be the first like YouTubers, comic book YouTubers to make a podcast. That isn't a comic book cast.
There's a combination of reaching out and luck.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it was timing. Like I came out the way when TV Little House / ComicPOP came out. Rob saw like an episode of Back Issues around episode like 6. So
we were really young at that time.
yeah, it was really like unexpected, and that's how
No, it was.
people got started.
But as for like making sure that someone like isn't like a shyster, check out their videos.
Yeah, go see their videos.
Like
see what
watch their see what they're doing. If they have no videos and they're like, yeah, no, I want to do this, then probably
don't even bother.
Yeah.
If they don't have videos, don't bother.
Yeah,
Because
and-
you can't wait to see if they're gonna like. You can't assume everyone's gonna become that any opportunity will be the next beauty bot. You have to be a little discerning.
And that's another argument for if you're a YouTuber for having a schedule, because you can see when everyone posted these videos, you can see how frequently they do it. Just because you have 10 videos in your library, is that 10 videos over a year?
Yeah, was that 10 videos like 10 months ago?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's a way to determine.
Exactly, and we can talk more about the week pull in a few, like in a little bit when we're done.
All right, so red sunglasses. You had a question.
How much do you think you've evolved when you first started?
How much we evolved?
Big time.
Immensely.
Well, ironically, we went from the kitchen of Sal's house to a comic book store, back to our
House.
the house
Back to
with
the
like
living
a better setup, because simply because of it being so much easier.
Oh my god, no, it was just so much
just,
easier to
like-
have control of the environment, not to have to move anything. Also lighting.
As a kind of an objective
Yeah.
observer, I think that these guys over time, they were friends to begin with, but I have watched them over time evolve their content and their timing to some degree, because nothing is pre-planned with these guys, I gotta tell you. Like, I have seen Sal, yeah, exactly. I have seen Sal waver back and forth on what book he wants to do up until the moment they're about to shoot the show.
Yep.
So they never have any idea what it is they're coming into, and I really feel like over time, you know, they're just like, especially Ethan and Ben, they're just down for it. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like
Let's go.
they're just going for it. They do certainly remember certain things. They start to make connections from comics that Sal has explained, but
Yeah.
like,
The show Back Issues has really evolved
Yeah.
because of you guys remembering stuff I've said. So
Yeah,
you're like
my perspective is totally different than when
Yeah.
I started, because
Yeah.
I know
simply
more about it.
infinitely more.
Simply from that, you know, equipment-wise, we haven't really upgraded all that much. We have certainly changed certain settings, changed our editing
The
style
big
on
upgrade
it.
was we went from a handy cam to a digital SLR.
Yeah, that made a huge difference, honestly, in quality. Like, that was something we were interested in upgrading.
And by the way, knowing your cameras, like, that works, but you also have to know how to export your video, because if you export it wrong, it's not going to matter what kind of camera you
Which,
shot.
by the way, YouTube is a great tool to use to learn more about that kind of thing.
Yes.
But also just the show ideas, you know, just incorporating new show ideas.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Because we
mean-
were just Back Issues.
Yeah,
it
we
was
just
just
made
the
Back
one
Issues,
show.
and
that
then I
came
thought,
out.
like, I guess we'll do this review show, and that was Sal Says What, which was
Yeah.
just me. And I was like, this is exhausting, me
Yeah.
doing it by myself. Do you guys want to just read these books? Because then I thought, wouldn't it be cool to get an outsider's perspective? Like, these are two guys who are technically new readers. Let's put our money where our mouths are, like comic book companies. Every issue is somebody's first comic book. Like, can a new reader get in? And, you know,
Yeah.
we found out.
But I think, and not to monopolize this, but I truly think that the biggest evolution I've seen, because certainly, like, not your personalities, you know, you guys don't hold back, and I love that, but, like, I know every single person up here thinks about the fans to some degree, like, thinks about, like, what it is people are saying, like, what it, like, you know, tries, like, if you guys make a suggestion, we do keep it in the back of our minds.
Yeah.
You know, just that even just the overwhelming, like, feeling of, like, positiveness, like, it definitely has kept everybody going. And so when it comes down to it, I think everyone over time has evolved to just be more aware of the community that is growing and respectful of that.
Thank you.
We're out of time.
That's it.
No, wait, hang on.
Oh,
Wait.
one more question.
Sorry, one more question. In the past, you mentioned that you have plans for future new shows and
Yes.
stuff on ComicPOP. Could you elaborate? Are you willing to
Oh, you want some insider
Spoilers.
info? Yeah.
But I think there's half an hour between the next.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could probably just stay here until someone kicks us out. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, what the next week's the cosplay thing, right?
Yeah, so.
No,
Yeah, once we see a whole bunch of cosplayers, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
The
get the
next thing
hell
is
out of here.
bullying and how to stop it.
Oh, well then yeah, we should probably go. We don't want to bully them. So,
Oh, okay, but yeah.
we would like to do. I guess we want to do more comic commentaries. That's always something we want to do. Just a question of sitting down and writing and watching a movie. We would like to do a Dungeons and Dragons type show where we play a game.
We're gonna try a single session of that, I think. One
Yeah,
time.
we're gonna-
Like a single
we're gonna
session
play test it
campaign,
and
and
see
we're
how it
gonna
goes.
see how that goes. But that's us taking our branding and trying something new.
Yeah.
You're gonna see more con coverage because it's con season. So
Yes. And we're trying to really we have. If you ever go on our channel, we have a whole bunch of old con videos, and we do like interviews and fly on the wall kind of coverage. We're trying to really change that to be more facilitating towards like what kind of channel we are and what kind of audience we have. Like what you guys want to watch and what do you want to see and what kind of experience you want to have. For the most part, people want to go to the con with us. So let's try to create that kind of experience, as opposed to just like, this is the con you missed. Sorry, I talked to this artist for 10 and 15 minutes. You probably didn't watch it. Let's change that.
Yeah. So again, that's evolving. We are constantly evolving.
I don't know if you see our Kineticon video. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate it.
But yeah, so we're trying to make more like that.
Yeah.
It's more like a show that we do as opposed to just us at a place.
And the fact is, Backish is never going to go anywhere.
Yep.
We
just like to bring back Hack and Splash page.
That is going to happen. That is an excellent example
Bonus
of
round?
Bonus round. I would like to see bonus round come back.
Okay. See, I am like the quintessential example of I didn't keep up with my schedule. But I used to be a part-time employee at a private school, and then I was thrust into a full-time employee position that I was like, I want that job. So now it's like, how do you manage making YouTube videos? And because I edit those, I edit my videos. Sal edits his videos.
Yep.
I
edit
while
an hour.
having what?
I edit an hour.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. So it is about time management. So that's on me.
I also didn't want we don't want to force something.
No, you should.
Oh, okay.
Because I need a swift kick in the butt sometimes. To be honest.
Well, it's funny you say that.
I could bring an orange cone.
I try to. Yeah. It's actually more motivating, I think, than me kicking you in the butt.
Dare.
So yeah. So there you go. That's a little bit of insight.
Do you want to hang out back in the tent if anyone has any more
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, we'll do like 5 minutes just outside.
Yeah.
And that way making room for everybody else.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, thank you guys so much for being here and participating. If you are not familiar with us, please go to comicpop.net. It's just going to forward you to the YouTube channel. But it's easier to remember than youtube.com/tvlittlehouse.
In fact, you can come up. We have business cards. We'd be happy to give you one.
It's true. And yeah, thank you guys so much for your questions and for hanging out and talking with us. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on the internet. I'm Sal.
I'm Ethan.
I'm Ben.
And I'm Tiffany.
We'll see you guys next time.
This is usually what the video ends.
Yeah.